The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
All right, let's have some fun. Happy Friday. It's time for a numbers game. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo. Kelley, it's going to be the last show after a hell of a 2-week run together, man.
We're going to miss you, Joe. We're going to miss you.
I'm just going to miss having a co-host, period. Sorry if that's not exclusive to you, but...
I was going to say, you're going to have to do regular check-ins with me and Gil, but I forget me and Joe have had I don't even want to say an unspoken because it's been spoken. It's been like, hey, I like you, I respect you, I'm never going on your show because it's too early or too late.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, when I was living at Circa for a little bit, I popped on once or twice.
That's right, you popped on once.
Yeah. It's a lot easier when you just have to come downstairs.
Right, yeah. It's like, hey, can you walk downstairs for me? Thanks.
Right. All right, yeah, I'll stop at Jackpot's, get a coffee. I'll be there in 10. Someone canceled on... That's, by the way, how it happened. I'm sure it was someone canceled on Kelley.
Oh, Joe!
Like our friend Paul Carr, he was like, look, I got too much going on. I can't do it. Call in Ceraulo. He can be my sub. And,
no, not at all, actually. Paul's one of the go-tos when someone else cancels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Paul's Mr. Reliable.
I'm not going to put them all out there, but I got my go-to guests, that's for sure. That if someone cancels, I'm giving them a call.
I love it. Well, we've got Paul on the show today. I can't wait. He's going to kick off hour 2 for us right here in hour 1, just about 30 minutes away. Josh Fisher, the creator of Stripe Sports, one of my regulars on Cashing Out, going to break down some NBA futures with us. And then how about some MLB talk with Anthony Recker, former MLB catcher. You catch him now on MLB Network. That's going to take us home later on in hour 2. Great guest lineup to send us off here in the final episode of our little 2 weeks together on a numbers game. Make sure you get involved with the show on Twitter at the Joe Ceraulo for myself, at Kelley Bydlon. Best tweets get read on air. Make sure that you get your voice heard. Become a part of the program. Kelley, what was your take on that hockey game last night? I thought that was everything, regardless of who won at the end. I thought that was everything we needed the championship to be.
Whole lot of fun, man. Whole lot of fun. I mean, if you can keep my attention locked in for the entirety of a hockey game, which that pretty much did, you did a great job. And man, overtime was crazy. I still can't get over that.
I can't believe. Saves. And I had money on Canada. And I can't believe the U.S. didn't win that in OT. I mean, Binnington was just, he was the second star. Obviously, McDavid, the game-winning goal, got first star honors. But Binnington, you could really argue, deserved to be the first star because he made so many saves in overtime where it was like point blank, this one's got to be over. U.S. is going to bury him.
A couple tough saves, too, man. They're really, really good saves.
The extension he had on one coming in from his left was, I mean, they showed the replay like 2-3 times, was just absolutely stunning extension. Just a great game by Binnington. And he gets now his second big win in TD Garden. Won a Game 7 there about 5-6 years back for St. Louis. So, that was the thing, because obviously a lot of people have been talking about how the U.S. had the goaltending advantage, which I believe, and I could be off on this number, I believe I heard earlier in the week, 20 of the 32 starting goaltenders in the NHL are American-born.
Wow.
Which,
all right, well, we got that.
Yeah,
let's go, right? America.
It's a crazy shift. I mean, goaltending used to be the greats of all time. I mean, all Canadians, right? So it's a crazy shift how the U.S. is dominating goaltending, and that was considered Canada's really lone weakness coming into this, was that the U.S. had Hellebuyck, and, Binnington was their top guy, and Binnington won a Stanley Cup 5-6 years back with St. Louis, but not the same guy that he was back then. Well, he won it in Boston, and now he won them that championship game last night in Boston.
Yeah. Brady Tkachuk becoming one of my favorite players, though, through this tournament, of just that was just like a bulldozer goal he had last night. It's just like, I'm going to fly full speed at the net, and the puck's going to hit some part of me, and I'm going to get it in there somehow. Yeah.
That was that was a blast. That was a fun hockey game. Recapping some other action from the night. That Celtics first half play got home.
Good on you, man. Yeah.
Laying 3 and a hook.
That was a good call. Celtics full game, first half, easy peasy, no problems. That was a little weird seeing all that Sixers money come in yesterday and this line go down, 6.5 where it closed
out.
at.
I didn't even see it close at 6.5. My goodness.
So really no sweat the whole night long for Boston.
Yeah, I mean, this Philadelphia team, they've got their quote-unquote big three, and everyone was all excited about Paul George and Embiid and Maxey. And, I mean, I'll say off the jump, I was very skeptical of George and what he would bring to the table. But, I mean, none of these guys did anything, right? Embiid, 3 for 9 from the floor, 15 points. George, 17 points, which honestly is better than I feel like a lot of outings we're seeing out of him. Maxey, who's had, I think, a terrific season, 16 points, 7 assists, modest, respectable game, but nothing that you'd expect out of those guys. You'd think one guy get you home with 20, 25, 30 maybe. For all these guys to be stuck in the teens, 15, 16, 17 points respectively, it's like someone take the reins over here.
Yeah, I got a soft spot for Tyrese Maxey. I really like him as a player. I won a most improved player ticket about him last year. But you saw him last year take that jump. You become an all-star, become a great player. But I'll tell you, Joe, it's a lot to ask of that guy this year, where all of a sudden you go from last year into this year, and it's, you had Joel Embiid concerns, but you add Paul George. You don't expect things are going to be nearly as bad as what they are with him. I had Paul George having the worst season of his career pretty much. So you're getting nothing from him. You don't know when Joel Embiid's going to play or not. So, all of a sudden overnight, this not only became Tyrese Maxey's team, but you don't even really have all that much help around you most of the nights that you're out there. So it's been tough to watch this Sixers team throughout this entire season. Well, maybe these guys can get healthy and hit a hot streak when they get in the playoffs, or if they get into the playoffs. But
yeah, it's not when, it's if right now.
Yeah, but not a team I'm counting on seeing much from.
No, not at all. I mean, look, and to your point, I also love Tyrese Maxey, right? But part of what made Maxey so special is that he's got Embiid out there. So when Embiid's drawing, the majority of the attention from opposing defenses, Maxey can light you up from outside. Now, it's like you said, it's Maxey's team, and he doesn't have the supporting cast. And Paul George, to your point, worst year of his career. Embiid's having a non-existent year, because even though when he's out there, his numbers look good. They look pretty, 24-8. He's played 18 games this year. So you got no Embiid, essentially. Paul George being a non-factor, well, I mean, is it safe to call him a liability?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
This is it's an absolute bleep show for Philadelphia right now. And Tyrese Maxey can't do it all alone. He's been, I think, unquestionably their best player this year. They're their lone bright spot.
I think he's still a top 5 scorer in the NBA. So he's still putting up those kind of numbers.
But I mean, you hold Jason Tatum to 15. Now, albeit he did have a triple-double, so a good performance out of him. But you hold him to 15. You hold Derek White to 16, Jaylen Brown to 20. You think you can get something cooking. You'd think. It's not like any of the stars on Boston went out there and killed him, but Peyton Pritchard turned in a hell of a night.
And I just flipped over to these 6 man of the year odds. Peyton Pritchard, after he had came back to about minus 105, I think is where I saw him at yesterday. Back out to minus 185 after a 28-point performance.
Was it 105? I thought 150 was the number we saw yesterday with Hunter at 280.
Might have been back up. Yeah, he might have been back up. He had been coming down closer and closer to even money, though, the past couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter at plus 280 didn't look like a bad bet yesterday when we were doing our NBA awards.
He's out to 4-1 now. Yep.
Speaking of NBA awards, as we were playing our game of, what was it? Done or not done yet?
Yeah, that aged well.
Minutes after we get off air, maybe seconds, defensive player of the year entered the not done yet category. Wemby was laying 2,000 as the easy favorite. And now with his blood clots, what was it? Thrombosis in his right shoulder, the official diagnosis, which first off, I just want to say, because obviously we look at so many things, and no pun intended with this show being a numbers game, but here at the network, we look at the numbers surrounding so many things and how it impacts the betting market. And sometimes you forget to look at the humanity of it all. I mean, this guy's a kid. And for me to say that shows you how young he is, right? Victor Wembanyama is a kid. And you see what he's going through right now. And I think the easy comparison, and the first guy that pops into mind, is Chris Bosh. And when Chris Bosh was going through this, that was essentially the last we saw and heard of Chris Bosh on an NBA court in an NBA uniform. And, this is Victor Wembanyama, the most hyped up, most generational prospect we've seen, I would say, probably since LeBron James. I mean, you can argue Zion, and he's kind of been a bust because he can't stay healthy. But the Wemby hype has been absolutely insane. And so looking at this kind of twofold here, first off, I hope we get to see him live up to his full potential as an athlete, and that we get to enjoy everything he's capable of on the court, and that this doesn't hinder him, beyond this season. Mm-hmm. Secondly, looking at it from more of a human perspective, I mean, this is a kid. I hope he's able to have a normal life, because Chris Bosh, once this came over, really lost his ability to have a normal life.
Yeah, glad you brought it up, Joe, because it really was one of the first things I thought of yesterday. It's just, Yeah, it's scary. If you're a fan of the NBA, and man, you've heard a lot of criticism about the association. I think this past couple years, and this is the next guy, like you said, the next generational talent. We've seen it coming for years. As young as he is, it's still been a few years that we've seen this coming with him, and he's starting to play up to that level. It's really tough, and especially when we've seen some of the past examples. We've seen a little bit more recently, Brandon Ingram, Asar Thompson, and no, nobody's a doctor on this show, but we've seen these guys deal with blood clots, have to take off the rest of the season, eventually come back just fine. But yeah, there are the examples of Chris Bosh and others that have had to deal with multiple of these, and it can really be career affecting. So you really hope this is just one, and he's able to move on from this, and it just happened to be, in the shoulder, and you heard a lot of these guys talking yesterday about the repetitive motions that you see from pitchers and basketball players sometimes, that these being a little bit more common to get in your arms. But still, it's a freak injury, and obviously not something this team was expecting after trading for De'Aaron Fox and hoping to make a run, towards the playoffs, towards the play-in with De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. This hits them, and all of a sudden it brings their season to a complete halt. And Joe, as far as the Spurs go to, and I know we want to talk Defensive Player of the Year, probably have to bleed that over to the next segment. I think as far as the Spurs go, you have to start thinking about this team very, very differently than we were thinking about them just a week ago. It's, hey, are they live? I mean, we had Zach Cohen on just last week. I've brought it up a couple of times of this being a team I'm interested in making a push this second half of the season and trying to get into that play-in tournament and make a run at the playoffs. And now you got to wonder if they start turning into a tanking team to try to get another high-end talent to pair next to Victor to going forward.
Yeah, I mean, wow, he's just turned 21 a month ago. Yeah. Hopefully this doesn't hinder what could be, should be, will be a great career if he's out there and if he's healthy. I'll tell you what, they didn't tank last night. We'll get into some surprising results in the NBA last night, as well as some award race updates on the other side. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo. It's a numbers game.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved, folks. That means no usage fees and no minimums. It also means you can earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today at edgeboost.bet. Use the promo code ANG and deposit $25. Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet. As a numbers game continues, taking you through this Friday morning, February 21st, alongside Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo as we get ready to wrap up our 2 weeks together on a numbers game. Make sure you folks get involved with the action on Twitter at Kelley Bydlon. For my man to my left, at the Joe Ceraulo. For myself, not to be mistaken with any other Joe Ceraulos on Twitter. Kelley, we've got tweets already to start the morning off.
Yeah, old Buddhist man chiming in, and man, there's a lot of people. Hey, we did the nice human side of the Wemby story. Now for the dirty, degenerate gambler side. Sorry for everybody that had Wemby tickets. Like, that is brutal. It is it's a tough beat. He's not going to reach the minimum number of games for Defensive Player of the Year. And now we start looking around elsewhere. Buddhist man tweeting in, on my way to burning 2K on Wemby futures, I also grabbed SGA Defensive Player of the Year 72-1. It seems Joker is the favorite for Clutch Player of the Year as a consolation prize for not winning MVP. What if the MVP narrative flips and Joker overtakes SGA? Would Defensive Player of the Year be the consolation prize for SGA?
Wow. Lot to unpack there. Yeah. I will say, I like where his head's at. I like the thought process. These consolation prizes are a thing. We were talking about it yesterday, looking at some early NFL awards stuff for next season. I said it. I think Comeback Player of the Year was a consolation for Joe Burrow because statistically, he had an ass-kick season, but you had Josh Allen win the MVP. You had Lamar Jackson go first-team All-Pro. And then there was Joe Burrow with great numbers and a crap team to show for it and no hardware. So they gave him Comeback Player of the Year, even though last year, he played 10 games. Yes, he suffered an injury, but I mean, we all know to expect greatness from Joe Burrow. I thought Comeback Player of the Year for Joe Burrow was silly. I thought Sam Darnold certainly should have been the pick. No, he didn't have an injury the year before, but he came back from being a non-factor, a non-thought. So I thought that Sam Darnold should have had that award. Burrow, I believe, got it as a consolation prize. And if Jokic does make a play, I mean, he had another great outing last night, right? What did he put up in that one? 29 points for the Nuggets, 17 boards, 9 dimes, just 1 assist shy of another triple-double, and almost 1 assist and 1 point shy of another 30-point triple-double. So I could absolutely, if Jokic comes out here and wins his 4th MVP, see SGA getting some sort of consolation.
All right, we're going to have to shut down the comeback player of the year comparison because obviously Joe and I are in complete disagreement on that. Sam Darnold didn't qualify. He didn't qualify for the award.
There is no qualifying.
Sure there is.
I mean,
we
he got
have
votes,
language.
so obviously he qualified. Yeah, the language was like, hey, we want to steer you guys in this direction. It's like it's frowned upon voting for Sam Darnold, not illegal.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. So
I do a lot of things that are frowned upon. So.
all right, fine. Frowned upon voters that, we're just a waste of time. Okay, got it.
I mean, don't we have 2 at VSiN who voted for Sam Darnold?
Yeah, we
right?
do.
Adam Shine and Rich Gannon?
Yep. Went against the rules. They went against the rules.
You know what?
Okay, but you're like you said, it's their ballot. They're allowed to do whatever the hell they want with it.
You don't get many places by being a rule follower.
That's right.
Here we go. We've got the comeback player of the year criteria.
Oh,
the
gosh.
spirit of the AP Comeback Player of the Year award is to honor a player who has demonstrated resilience in the face of adversity by overcoming illness, physical injury, or other circumstances that led him to miss playing time the previous season. The decision to provide this guidance was made last December, but could not be implemented for the 2023 awards because the season was almost completed.
I love the tone.
Yeah, because it's BS. It's some like participation trophy fairy crap.
Brendan, I was trying to move on, not continue this for 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
To the NBA. To the NBA. Okay, I agree with what you're talking about.
Take
The
your
NBA. There
spirit
is
and shove it.
absolutely a case. And Buddhist man, I think you're right. I don't think it is the reason to go bet SGA for Defensive Player of the Year, but it certainly doesn't hurt his case, right? If Jokic somehow does get a little bit further up there for the MVP, and SGA takes a bit of a back seat, it does not hurt knowing that could be a potential way that voters go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring it up. This was part of the reason why we said, or why I said it was done yesterday with Wemby. It wasn't as much, and we talked about this with Michael Montesano this week too, it wasn't as much about Wemby's case and how amazingly stellar it was, as opposed to there wasn't a clear-cut second choice of who it would go to next.
Right.
So now that Victor Wembanyama's out of this race, I think this is far more wide open than the odds indicate. We have Jaren Jackson Jr. the favorite right now, minus 115.
No one should be odds on, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't think Evan Mobley or Jaren Jackson Jr. should be this short. Evan Mobley's plus 135. Now you got a couple of guys got a lot of steam yesterday when this market opened back up. Dyson Daniels shot all the way back down to 13-1. You may remember he was the defensive story, I would say, of the beginning of the season when he was averaging like 5 steals a game for like 7 weeks or something like that. He's still your steals leader at three steals a game. He's down to 13-1 now. Lou Dort sees some steam yesterday at 17-1. This is where it gets interesting, Joe, because do you go with the route that we've seen for so many years of the classic rim protector like a Jaren Jackson Jr. or Evan Mobley? The problem is when we usually see these, we're talking about a team defense that's like top 2, 3. These guys are top 10. Their defenses are top 10, but they're not in that top 1, 2, 3 stratosphere. Or do you go and look at wanting to grab someone from the best defense in the NBA and the teams? It's been the best defense in the NBA for the entirety of the season, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
What's tricky about them is they've got 3 of the 7 shortest shots on the board.
And
so it's kind of like an MVP race when you have 2 guys on the same team, and it's like, shoot, are they going to take votes away from each other?
Right, which I think is very likely going to happen. I think what bettors did yesterday and some of the odds makers, they went and said, okay, who is the... This is where you got to
Would it be a hot take to say Lou Dort? I mean, he's the shortest shot of the 3 Thunder players. Would it be a hot take to say he should actually be the longest shot of those 3?
It might be a hot take for some, not for me, Joe. Not for me. He is statistically probably the 6th, 7th best defender on this team this year.
I think SGA and Jalen Williams are both better.
They're having better numbers this year. They really are. So the problem is that we think of Lou Dort and we think of him guarding the best of the best, which is true.
Yeah.
And you got to give him credit for that. The other problem with this, though, is you could have said, okay, the guy would have gone to right away, and the guy that would have been pressing Wembanyama this entire season was Chet Holmgren. Right. But he got hurt, and he's not going to qualify either.
I'm kind of out on Holmgren. I haven't really liked Holmgren since his college days. I just think that guy, I mean, you said it, but he was hurt.
Yeah.
He is always hurt. And if you look at his body, I think he is always going to be hurt. Because the guy's like, 7'2"? and 160 pounds soaking wet. I mean, I've been out on him for a long time. I just don't think that his build is conducive to a long, healthy NBA career.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, that could be him and Wemby both, right? We don't know.
I think Wemby'd eat him up for lunch. Personally.
Yeah. So you have all these options from the Thunder. I understand why people want to go to Dort right away, but honestly, when you go and look, I mean, SGA is going to have some of the counting stats. He's at least number 2 behind Dyson Daniels in steals right now. And then if you go look at some of the advanced analytics with EPM and stuff like that, it is SGA and Jalen Williams who are the top 2 guys on the Thunder for stuff like that. So I could be talked into a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander bet in this market. I think that one makes sense. There is a bet I'm going to make here. He didn't get posted initially yesterday. He finally got posted and then got bet pretty heavily. It is Ivica Zubac with the Clippers. And I don't know that he is I don't know he's going to win this award, Joe, but he does not belong that far off from where Jaren Jackson Jr. and Evan Mobley are.
I was just going to say, why would he be so much longer than Mobley?
Yeah, and if we want to bring up the team defenses, Clippers' 3rd best team defense in the NBA this entire season. That's better than what the Memphis Grizzlies and Cleveland Cavaliers have been. And you go look at some of the advanced metrics, Zubac's better than both of them. It's just really, are we going to go look at just what we're doing blocks per game? Sure, Jackson Jr. and Mobley are a little bit better there, but not like it's night and day. So Zoo's going to be a bet for me. I haven't had a chance to make it yet. I think should be in this conversation, though. Regardless, I think if you're sitting there, if you were one of these people sitting there and grabbed 15-1, 20-1 on Jaren Jackson Jr., Evan Mobley a couple weeks ago or throughout any point in the season. Good on you. But it still ain't done yet, Joe.
But now you've opened yourself up where you can hedge. I mean, you've put yourself in a terrific position. Triple J was 22-1 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you got in on that, now obviously yesterday we probably would have said, well, you just wasted your money. Like, congrats on the CLV or the value, absolutely. But it's a done deal. It's a done race. I mean, if you got in on 22-1 on a guy who's now odds on, well, you're sitting pretty in a position to hedge and play some games the rest of the way.
I'm rooting for Montesano at this point because he's been pushing the Thunder thing the entire season. He was just on with us 2 days ago saying Wemby should not be this big of a favorite here.
I mean, look, I'll tell you what, and I know it's defensive player of the year, not two-way player of the year. I think the best two-way player in the league, I think SGA.
Yeah.
And, I know that this is typically, to your point, a rim protector award. You look down the list recent years, it's very rare a guard gets it. Marcus Smart, the lone one in the last 5-6 years or so. But in an open field like this might be a time to give it to a guard. You don't have that clear cut. I mean, Wemby, if he's healthy, is going to win this award so many times.
Right. The other point real quick on Mobley, I think that this might be a little false. Like, you're being led falsely a little bit on Mobley because, Joe, why wouldn't Mobley be getting more love in the most improved player race if he was this good and this is where he belonged in defense?
They also have 2 great rim protectors in Cleveland, so I mean, Jared Allen's terrific on D. It's kind of tough to isolate one of them. As far as the Twin Tower effect, I mean, the 2 of them are sensational together, but I don't know if one of them can win the award. Up next, we'll continue the NBA Futures talk with our friend Josh Fisher of Stripe Sports. It's a numbers game. Kelley, Bydlon, Joe Ceraulo.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Numbers game continues alongside Kelley Bydlon, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Friday morning. And now, as we continue our NBA awards talk, taking you over to the Progressive guest line. If you watch me on Cashing Out, you know who's about to join the show. The creator of Stripe Sports. You can also catch him weekly on ESPN Austin down there in the Lone Star State. Our friend Josh Fisher joining the show. Josh, happy Friday. How are you, man?
Good. Feel good. Woke up, ran 5 miles, had a delicious breakfast, watched the news, read the paper, ready to rock and talk some betting with you guys.
Same for all of us.
Big West LA 4:30 a.m. jog guy. He's out there with all the single moms walking their poodles in Brentwood every morning.
I went 7 miles this morning, but it's not a contest.
Okay. All right. Way to one up me, but I'm not even mad. I'm proud of you. Good for you. That's awesome.
Josh, we're talking Defensive Player of the Year all morning on this program, and obviously the awful Wemby news yesterday shook up the awards market. And I mean, look, first off, we just wish Wemby the best, and it's atrocious to see this. The kid's 21 years old. Hopefully it doesn't hinder a long and successful, potentially Hall of Fame career. But now when you look at this odds board and the impact it's got on it, this thing is wide open. I disagree. Jaren Jackson's the odds-on guy. I don't think anyone should be an odds-on favorite in this market. And you got, 3 players on the best defensive team in the league, currently among the 7 shortest shots. Do you think about going to one of those guys?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, Triple J's won the award before, so let's not give him let's not discredit him. He's one of the best. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I think the guy's completely underrated, and he's the reason the Memphis Grizzlies are where they are, not Ja Morant. He's the all-star. But to me, I think Lou Dort is the unsung hero in Oklahoma City. They are the best defensive team in basketball by a country mile. It's not even debatable who the best defensive team in basketball is. So at that point, why shouldn't the best defensive player on the bona fide best defensive team win the award? It's almost my reasoning with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander versus Jokic. Is Jokic the best player in the world? Yes. Has he been more statistically impressive than Shai? Probably. All that to be said, they are without a doubt the best team. So why shouldn't the best player on the best team win the MVP? Isn't the whole point of this to win? Isn't winning everything? Well, I don't know.
So
that's just how my little rant for the morning.
Where I would come back on that, though, is that, we've seen this in MVP races in the past. When a team has 2 guys, in this case 3 guys, who all excel in one area, do you think there's a chance that they take votes away from each other? Would that give you pause in betting Dort, knowing, hey, maybe some people are going to bet SGA? He's the best 2-way player in the game. Obviously, this isn't the 2-way award. It's a Defensive Player of the Year award. But I could see these guys taking votes away from one another.
They could. Yeah, they could. They realistically could. I don't even... Is he the best 2-way player? I mean, that's a whole Giannis debate we could have for another show. But Lou Dort, to me, he gets no love, man. He does all the dirty work for this Thunder team. He picks up the toughest matchup. He guards the best wing player, and it's the NBA, and there's a bevy of good wing players, right? And he can pick up the best guard. He could realistically, he could guard 1 through 5. You know what I'm saying? If he had to, he's that gritty. He's that tough, and he's that strong. So to me, if this team continues to excel the way they're excelling defensively, and if they could even continue to widen the gap defensively a bit more, I think he should be rewarded. And the odds are just so juicy.
Yeah,
you don't throw the mortgage on this thing. That's not what we're advising here. It's just a couple sprinkles in the cupcake. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, Josh, I'm with you. I'm with you from the standpoint of I don't think the 2 guys at the top should be that short. I think this is way more wide open. I think there absolutely could be love that goes to the Thunder here for what they've done all season long on defense, like you're talking about. I do think the cases are tough to chop up from OKC. I want to hit a couple other guys on this list, though. Dyson Daniels. Do you believe he's really live? Because I think he'd have to have a pretty sick end of the season and get back to what we saw sort of at the beginning. I know it's 3 steals a game, but I think he's going to have to even get better than that to really be in the mix here, considering his team defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's more of a flashy pick. I don't foresee that happening. I think their team unfortunately got cooked when they lost Jalen Johnson. That whole thing went away. So I unfortunately for Dyson Daniels, who's had a fantastic year, he's come on strong. With the whole Murray injury, that deal looks like it's blown up in their face. Again for New Orleans, but Dyson Daniels, he's probably a year away from really taking a good stab at this award.
So, Josh, we're talking a lot about Thunder players here, and that they're obviously right now undisputably the best team in the league. They're not the team you're riding with to the end. Give me a team you love in the futures market in just a slew of different ways.
Hey, give me the Nuggets, bro. They have the best player in the world. They're the best player in the world who, by the way, has already won. Then his second and third best player, I know they're not they don't have the same sex appeal as Jalen Williams, who I love. I think J-Dub, if you actually watch any Thunder game, which you should, because it's really good basketball. Jalen Williams is such a freak athlete, man. He is so good, and he is so quick and agile. I love watching him go to the basket, man. He is so good to me. But you still have Jamal Murray. You still have Michael Porter Jr. You still have Aaron Gordon. Michael Porter Jr., by the way, and Jamal Murray are starting to turn it on pretty nicely. All those guys have won the NBA Finals, and it's not like they won 5, 6, 7 years ago. They won 2 years ago. with Mike Malone, their head coach. This whole team's done it. Sans Contavious Caldwell-Pope. By the way, Christian Brown's gotten older. By the way, you add Russell Westbrook, who will literally do whatever it takes at this point. Look at him play the game.
Yeah.
He will do whatever it takes to win. He does not care anymore. He will fight a janitor if it takes them to win this championship.
A pregnant woman, some would say.
And the other team, and the other team's locker room. Russell Westbrook will do whatever it takes to get this thing over the finish line. And to me, I think this team's incredibly dangerous. They're incredibly hot right now. And at the end of the day, there's 5 guys on the court. When you have the best guy and it's not even close, I have to ride with you, especially at plus 1,400. Again, way too nice and juicy for me to pass up on that stake.
So are you taking Jokic MVP then as well?
Might as well, baby. Like it's just look. If he closes, what if he closes the gap? Hypothetically. And by the way, on like the Wembanyama injury on so many levels is awful. He, again, scary, very young. He's had an unreal sophomore year. The weird betting angle you could take from it, especially now in the NBA where there's minimums guys have to play. Like at this point, you hope everyone stays healthy. You never root for a player's injury. But you have to sprinkle a little cash in some places because someone could go down. And then that all of a sudden, like now the defensive player of the year, which was such a bona fide lock, is wide open. So if you're really just putting your betting hat on and being a little callous here, right? Like you have to sprinkle a little cash because God forbid the worst happens to a player. Again, this is the last thing we want. You never root for an injury. But if that does happen, you have to kind of be prepared before the odds, like Jokic's odds, like hypothetically would just, plummet in favor of him. So and all that to be said, that the injury thing aside, like if they're 9 games back, 8.5 games back, if they close the gap to 2 or 3 games, which means the Thunder would have had to fall a little bit and they would still have to be scorching hot and they would arguably be the hottest team going into the NBA championship. And the most important thing for an MVP race is finishing strong, right? Like he's going to win the award. He's the best. It's no competition on who the actual best player in the league is. He's Shohei Ohtani. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting race down the stretch this year. That's for sure. Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook. If you're just catching up on the NBA now, these have been 2 of the most fascinating stories, I think, throughout the season. Because Jamal Murray, personally, Josh, I thought he looked a little washed at the beginning of the year. I thought this was going to be the start of his downfall. And, man, he's been playing great ball recently. And Russell Westbrook looks like a different player there in Denver right now than what we've seen past couple years. So, yeah, I think watch out for them. I know you got one you're liking in the Rookie of the Year market that's just been a complete mess. Where are you looking at over there?
Yeah, I mean, Castle should be the favorite, is the safe bet. This was one of my favorite picks in the draft coming out of the draft. The minute they took this kid, I was like, there's no way on God's green earth he's going to be bad. He's just going to be good. Like they just home run picks. He was good in college. He's a big man. He's going to fit so nicely next to Bam. And that's Clay Ware. Like I think he's plus 900. I saw him at plus 600 somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's plus 900 here.
Yeah,
and if he has like a January, February, the rest of the way, like he just had, like he's going to tighten the gap between Castle and make this a tight race. Castle should be the favorite. If you want to put money on that, like no disrespect, go right ahead. Minus 180 is still pretty nice. And I like Jalen Wells has had a really strong season, but I think you talk about guys that could take away from each other. Like down the stretch, Edey's going to have to play more. So I think Edey and Wells could take away from each other, as you were discussing, Joe, with the Thunder guys taking away from each other. Whereas I think Clay Ware is going to continue to progress for the Miami Heat, and a plus 900 is a really nice bet for me.
Josh, as always, man, awesome stuff. Appreciate the time. I'll see you next week on Cashing Out. Thanks for hopping on.
Later.
Up next, some MLB futures. Josh is going to be happy when he hears that I am all over his Red Sox this coming season. It's a numbers game. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Folks, want to know where the money is really going? Only VSiN gives you exclusive access to betting splits from Circa Sportsbook and DraftKings, 2 of the most respected names in the industry. Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, giving you insight into where the sharp action is landing. Circa, of course, known for taking big bets from pro bettors, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. That means you're getting the real action, not just public money, but the kind of wagers that actually move the lines. See the percentage of bets versus the percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed plays. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 your first month at VSiN.com/subscribe. A numbers game continues alongside Kelley, Bydlon, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Friday morning on this February 21st edition of the show. Hey, Kelley, I've got good news.
What's that?
You can now play for the New York Yankees, and you don't have to shave.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about this a bit in the back earlier.
How about that? 49 years later, they finally get it right. Get rid of that antiquated, archaic, idiotic rule. That was the dumbest rule ever.
Yeah. The Marlins still have it? Like, didn't the Marlins copy it, too?
Did they implement it?
They did,
I didn't think the Marlins
I think when Jeter went down there, right, for the ownership group, they that somehow became a rule.
Jeter carried that over?
Yeah.
They got, we were talking about this yesterday. That guy, when you watch playoff baseball on Fox, he has zero personality. Yeah. He is the worst part of that team.
There's a lot of that in sports.
I mean, look, and you get guys who are there strictly for the personality, like David Ortiz.
Yeah,
doesn't exactly bring the best insight, but he's got the great personality. And then Jeter is just sitting there, and he looks like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He's just so boring. I once had a job interview, and the company said I would have had to be clean shaven for a job. And it was my second interview, and I said, all right. I said, are you guys the New York Yankees? And the guy wasn't into sports. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, this job's not for me. Tell me
you barely have anything. Come on, man. You can shave that off. You'd be looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I could, but I'm not, you're not going to tell me I have to. Also, they wanted,
I think there's
my
a lot of
my
jobs
hair was
that
too
you
long for them. To shave?
Yeah.
I don't
know. You got to look professional, Joe.
I think a well-kept beard.
I mean, there's a lot of TV jobs they're going to make you clean shave, too.
I don't know about that. I haven't run into any of those. I think a well-kept beard is very, very professional. I mean, I'm not going out there looking like Johnny Damon circa the 2004 Red Sox.
So the discussion in the back before the show, and it was one of those, those discussions that happen about you while you're in the room. And I was like, what is
were people talking on your name,
Well,
Kelley?
I didn't know. I didn't hear the Yankee rule come down this morning, so they were discussing what a well-groomed beard would be and what's the cutoff. So I think I made the cut according to our crew, but
it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's well kept. It's thick though,
but it's thick.
With 3 C's.
Yeah, how big can you go right with the beard before it's just too long?
Like when I think unkept, I think Johnny Damon 04 Red Sox.
Yep, I agree.
Like that was the antithesis of the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And then Damon, of course, going to the Yankees after that was kind of hilarious.
Like Dave Ross was asking about himself. I think he'd be okay, but I don't know.
I think he'd be fine.
Yeah, I think he'd be fine.
But Dave is, he's a good man. He would never want to play for the Yankees.
But that's also another case. It's the opposite, right? Like it's short. I don't know how perfectly groomed that Dave's is, but it's shorter. So it's easier. It doesn't look as out of control.
Right. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, look, the Yankees, quote unquote, culture is changing. You saw Jazz Chisholm's picture the other day on social media with all the bling. I feel like that's very, not the Yankee way. Yeah. But you know what? The Yankee way has kind of sucked for almost 2 decades now.
I'll tell you what, Yankees, if you need to bring me on board to make these tough decisions for you, I'm open to discussions.
I think they should bring you on board if you are willing to pay Juan Soto, because they're really running themselves like they're not the favorites in the American League to be in the Fall Classic next October. The Yankees are, I don't know. I've got questions about the direction they're going in, and we'll answer some of those questions in a couple of minutes here. But first, Kelley, a little update on the Mexico Open.
Yeah, just pulled up this leaderboard. Wanted to see where all my losers are at. Chris Ventura with the lead right now, which if you listened or watched long shots this week, I really wish I bet on this guy, but I know Matt Brown and Wes Reynolds did, and this was triple digits. He has a 1-shot lead right now, 8 under par through 5 holes in his second round. Akshay Bhatia, the tournament favorite, right behind him at 7 under through 6. He's 2 under on his round. No surprise to see him right there. You got a few other guys at 7 under par, a few at 6 under par. Still early in the round, though, if you're looking to get involved in either round 2 betting or overall outright bets or something like that. Very limited tee off so far. Your updated outright odds, live odds. Akshay Bhatia plus 650 at DraftKings. Harry Hall 7-1. Ventura then 10-1. Aldrich Potgieter 12-1. Stefan Yeager 14-1. Patrick Rogers 14-1. Ben Griffin 18-1. Everybody else 22-1 or longer.
What happened to our guy who was leading yesterday? I can't remember his name.
While we were on the air?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say the lead changed a couple times down the stretch.
When we were on, it was started with an H, Japanese.
Yeah.
He said Suni?
It's a Suni. Where did he
Okay,
end?
yeah.
He is
50-1.
500. He's waiting for a second round to start.
And he's sitting there at 50-1?
Yeah, you got a lot of guys bunched up in that range, though. I mean, he is T13 right now.
Okay. Any value on a top 10 finish, you think, at longer than 3-1?
No, there's other guys I'd probably rather target there.
Stay away.
Like Jake Knapp's in that same area. He's on the course right now. I got my guy Alejandro Tosti. Hopefully he can keep it up.
Love Toasty.
It's the top of the board. It's a weaker field, but the top of the leaderboard's actually getting a little scary though, because Ventura was a guy that rated out pretty well for me. Akshay Bhatia, the rightful tournament favorite. Harry Hall, we know, can go low at some of these easier scoring events, and that applies to Stephen Yeager too, and he's climbing up the leaderboard. So it's usually in a weaker field, you don't get scared to the top of the leaderboard that early in the tournament, but I would be a little careful.
How's my Paisan? How's Molinari doing? He's sitting there 90-1.
I love that we brought this up. I think Dave ended up betting another Italian too, and I was like, you weren't going to bet the guy who won a major? Yeah, Molinari's 500, man. He tees off.
He's 500. He's 90-1 and 5-1 for a top 10. I know it's bunched up.
Play something, bro. You good?
I don't know. Me playing golf.
He's 500. He hasn't even teed off his second round yet. He's only 3 shots off the lead.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll put a little sauce on it. You know, let's do it. Molinari, just do it for the country, right? Dave will be
champion.
Happy. Dave Ross will be had. Such an Italian name, isn't it? I love Dave and his stage name. I had to call him out on that. Dave, first time I meet him, he's like, "Oh, another Paisan." I'm like, "Oh yeah, Ross is really Italian."
I think he was on Matteo Manacero, who is even par. Not looking so great.
Okay. Oh yeah, I mean, if 5 under has you tied 13th, then even ain't exactly terrific. Let's get back over to baseball because we hinted at it. We'll do a little more as the program continues. But this American League East brought up the Yankees for a reason. I'm not high on the Yankees this year at all. I have a lot of questions about the Yankees starting pitching. First off, Garrett Cole's great. Garrett Cole didn't look too great last year coming back from injury. So, is he going to be back in form? I think he should be. He shows flashes. He looked great against Kansas City in the postseason. Then again, I mean, Kansas City didn't, hit for anything in the postseason. You look at their little 2-game sweep over Baltimore. I think the aggregate scoring that series over 2 games was Kansas City 3, Orioles 1. It was more like 2 legs of a soccer match than it was playoff baseball. So, Cole went out there at times. He shoved. At times, he got absolutely lit up. So he's obviously, he's a Cy Young winner. We all know what he at his best is capable of. Max Fried had a very good year. Got banged up, had a rough summer, a little bit of a 6-week stretch there where he struggled in the middle of things. I think Fried's contract, the Yankees are going to regret it heavily if they don't win a World Series in the next 2 to 3 years. I think it was an absurdly long contract, and it's going to bite him if it doesn't culminate in some success very soon. After that, a lot of question marks. Can Luis Hill, coming off a Rookie of the Year campaign, can he go out there and redo what he just did a season ago? Marcus Stroman is already complaining like he does seemingly every locker room, every clubhouse he steps foot in. He's already becoming an issue. Talks and speculation about moving to the bullpen. He's saying absolutely not. I'm a starter, but when he starts, he stinks. I don't trust this Yankees team. I don't think the lineup is very deep. Paul Goldschmidt, not exactly a marquee signing. Bellinger should have some success with that short porch in right field, but I don't think the lineup is as good as Boston's. I don't think the starting pitching, while it's top heavy, is as deep as Boston's. Boston was a fringe playoff team a year ago, Kelley, with Tanner Houck and Cutter Crawford leading the way. Now they got Walker Buehler and Garrett Crochet, a true ace, who's the second shot Cy Young 6-1 American League. In that rotation, they've fortified the bullpen. Man, I love this Red Sox team. I think they're leaps and bounds better than Baltimore. I was high on Baltimore last year. They've regressed, in my opinion. But what's crazy to me is the different ways you can bet it. So, I kind of went the boring way a week ago because I was expecting this number to move. Took them plus 425 to win the AL East. There are so many other ways to play Boston that intrigue me. I've given out on this show the 9-1 Valentine's Day exacta. Red Sox first, Yankees second. I think that those two teams are head and shoulders above the other three in that division. That's 9-1. But then you look at, as I'm thinking, whoever gets the 1 seed in the American League East, whoever wins the division, probably going to get the 1 seed or at least the 2 seed in the American League, right? Boston, 11-1 to get the 1 seed, 13-1 to get the 2 seed. Why not put a little something on both of those? So many ways to bet the Red Sox. More MLB still to come on A Numbers Game. Some soccer up next with Paul Carr. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo. Don't go anywhere.